Welcome, welcome, welcome from Florida. This is Toni Weel. Should I tell you what kind of weather it is here? It's cold, it's freezing. And I'm in Central Florida, subtropical, my poor plants. Anyway, I know that it's colder where most of you are, so I'm not complaining. I actually love it. I love it when I hear the rain on the tin roof. Well, we don't have a tin roof, but sometimes it sounds like that. And I hear the wind blowing, and it's nice and cozy in my house and my office. I enjoy it. Okay, we have, as usual, we have Gary with us and Katie and Sarah from Virtuous Unicorns. Last week we were talking about Katie's questions, or it's already 2 weeks ago, and how she always used to have a ton and a ton of questions, good questions, questions that so many people actually have, and we would love to answer them. But Katie got a little quiet lately, so I was like, okay, we do need to do a whole hour with just Katie's questions. So, Katie, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Yes, and thanks for everyone who submitted a question to me. So hopefully we get them all answered today. And there is quite a list. So here we go with our first one. Someone had asked about a vibrating board, or a lymphatic vibrating board, and they were wondering, is it just as good as jumping on a trampoline? And how often should you jump on the trampoline? Do you do it like more than once a day? And what if you do it once a day, what is the better time to do it, in the morning or in the evening?
I can only, yeah, actually, I can answer this with my own experience, and I would love to hear the comments from others too. I don't think that you can compare the vibrating board actually with the jumping on the trampoline. I did the jumping on the trampoline. I did it in the morning, like 1,000 times up, and I had to build up to that. And then to find this was way before I knew anything what that Dr. Morse has been teaching us. Going back, this is 10 years ago. And I thought I was doing so good, and my legs started hurting and swelling, and I got a big bump on my calf, on the right calf, and not knowing what it was, but I figured if I found out eventually that if I stopped the jumping, it went away. And now I know kidneys were not filtering, and the lymph was just pooling in an area. So you have to be careful with that. I don't think you would have the same issues with a vibrating board. I do have a vibrating board. I just put my feet on it. It's not that I stand on it, it's just for my feet. And I like the feeling of it. I don't really know what it is actually doing. If you want to do any of the, or any of the two, the trampoline or the vibrating board, I would do it in the morning because I don't know if it's a good thing when you before you go to bed is activate your lymph. But maybe Gary, what is your idea about this?
So I've done both. The gym that I used to be part of, they had a vibrating board you stood on, and I loved it. Um, the there's not as much movement. You're not jumping up and down and that kind of thing. I also love the little trampolines, the little ones. Uh, and I would do morning or afternoon, depending on, but morning to open your six lymphatic gates for one thing. But the reason the vibrating board works and the trampoline works is the balls of our feet are lymphatic pumps. So as that's vibrating, it's sending the lymph up through the body. It's shaking everything up, cellular wise, moving a lot of mucus, getting the blood and the lymph into different areas, into different tissues, because it's loosening tissue. Um, so that would be my thing. I don't know that I would do it at night. I might open the six lymphatic gates before I lay down just to make sure they're open, because that's when from your toes to gate one is where your collarbone is, the lymphatic gates. That lymph has to travel all the way through the body to get to that first gate. So if I do the vibrating board or the trampoline in the morning or in the afternoon, whatever you have time for, and I'd only do like maybe 5 or 10 minutes. That's really all you need. It's like going for a walk. And then open the gates at night, and when you lay down, your lymph can drain up to gate 1, which is just above your collarbone, actually. So that'd be my take on it.
Yeah, and there's another way that you can do, and that is not necessarily using either items, but just go up and down on your feet in the grass outside, or just go on your toes and back, and that will help too.
Mhm.
Kind of like doing what do they call them? Like calf raises or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are important. The thing about that is, you might do 10, you know what I mean? But you are activating the ball of the foot. You're going to get more activation from plate or a more gentle movement of the foot. It would be on the little mini trampolines. And it's low impact, so it's not affecting your joints like it would be if you was out on hot top. And if you're going to be outside and your grass is not sprayed with chemicals, and you're going to just go for a walk or do some raises with your heels, picking yourself up on the ball of your foot. Again, it's going to be very limited, but it will definitely help. It'll put a lot of blood and lymph in the knees. That's one of the basic things is your sixth lymphatic gate is behind your knee. And if that gets blocked off, there's a pump there too. And it pumps the blood and the lymph into the knee joint. So if you have arthritis in your knees or something like that, you're gonna have to really be careful. Uh, Probably the plate would be better at that point if your knee can handle it. If you're having knee issues, sit on a table where your legs can hang down so they're not touching the floor, and just gently move your foot around. And that the weight of your leg will open that joint, and it'll allow fluid, it'll allow blood and lymph to go into the joint. And you do that for, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes. It's going to depend on what's going on in your knee, how bad it is. And then when you stand up, that is the cushion that was there, and the pain will go away. Now it may come back in a little while, so you can do it again, but to remember that it's already dehydrated. It's already lacking nutrition and oxygen. So as we breathe and we hydrate and we move our body, the fluids can start to flow, because that's the big issue in the body is there's no fluid flow, lymph or blood in tight tissue and inflamed tissue. So, okay, zip it, Gary.
The one thing I was going to say on that though is I see a lot of people and I see it on Instagram, TikTok, and everything, and everybody's recommending to do the rebounding on those mini trampolines. And my question would be is, and I know you touched on a little bit, Toni, but the kidneys, are your kidneys filtering? And I always thought that that was one of the number one things you want to try to reach for before you just go in there and start shaking your lymphatic system up, because then is it even draining or is it just relocating to a different part of your body?
Well, my experience was that it was relocating to a different part of my body. And I do feel that with all the gyms around, people want to do too much. And they think, oh, if I do this and I do the walking there, instead of walking, in nature, they go to the gyms and go on things to do the walking there. And now you have the vibrating board. And I do feel if you just do the walking, and I'm so happy I learned about that with Gary's sun swing and the opening of the six lymphatic gates. Keep it simple. I mean, but I do understand what people want to do, because a lot of people want to go to the gyms and feel that that is a big part of their health, not realizing that rest is a big part of healing too. So, but yeah, this was about the lymphatic vibrating board. You know what? I hadn't even heard of it. The lymphatic vibrating board. That was new to me.
I'm sure it's good for some people if you can't do the rebounding, but I think you're resting and getting your detox taken care of, get your kidneys filtering first, doing light walking. And with your walking, you're doing breathing. So even though those are all good things, I think that those come later on during the detox process.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm so glad that you also, because as you guys were answering the question, I even was like, well, what if somebody doesn't have access to a trampoline? And you already addressed that. Gary, shared with us some things that we can do if we don't have that miniature trampoline. And yes, I've heard it too, that you want to make sure that your kidneys are filtering first before you start shaking out everything, because then it will just go somewhere else. So thank you so much. Okay, the next one, and now this one was from me. I keep seeing CMOS being mentioned or recommended, and so now to me that just doesn't resonate with me. But I am wondering, what is your opinion about CMOS? Is this something that we need? Just what do you guys think about it?
Like, do we really need it? I think years ago we'd never heard about it. You know, it's something new on the market and it's everywhere. On the farmer's market, I can buy drinks. You know, what is it? It was 8 or 10 ounces for $10, and they add a little juice in it, and they add a little sea moss in it, and here you go. So it is, and I looked it up and I listened to Dr. Morse about it. He's not against it. And I found that there are actually you have Irish moss and you have sea moss, and it's the same thing. It's only that the Irish moss comes from Ireland, and you have Jamaican seaweed, and so it can be used. Is it necessary? It is said that it has a lot of minerals. When I look at the natural hygiene way of thinking about this, it's not really a food for us, but it's not harmful to us. And it's not a food for us because we are not sea creatures. And it is a sea vegetable. But yeah, it does have the minerals, and it is a plant. So yeah, you can use it. Is it necessary? I think if you eat enough soft leafy greens in high fruit diet, you get what you need too. But I don't think people should make it like an absolute must as another supplement that we need. That's my opinion about it.
I don't really, I mean, I don't really have an opinion about it. Uh, it depends on what's wrong. And some people, it's kind of like a placebo thing, but it does have salt in it. So uh, it's a natural source of salt and minerals. So, and I don't know if they're making a, like you said, they're making a drink out of it. They probably make a tea also. I'm not really sure. I haven't really followed sea moss that much
Yeah,
because
they make drinks and different fruits in it, different tastes. They make it. They had one with lemon. They have it as a gel, and they had they had an information there that it heals about anything and everything under the sun, and that is what I do not like, because it's just not true when people believe it. So that is what I do have a problem with. It needs to be, you can buy the CMOS, but before you can use it, you still have to process it. And you can do that at home. But I bought a package, and it's been sitting in my fridge for a year now. I think I can probably throw it out. And I also had a bottle because I like to help out the local what is it, merchants on the at the farmers market. So I always buy something to try out. But I think I used it 2 or 3 times, and then I was like, I don't know what to do with this. So to me, it's not important.
Is the sea moss the same as seaweed?
It is a sort of a seaweed. I mean, seaweeds comes in all kinds of different forms too.
Yeah,
Right.
because the reason I was going to say is seaweed, it's known for cleansing the ocean. Whatever it grabs and holds onto it, it keeps. And I think that I remember people were eating seaweed or maybe the sea moss, and they were thinking that it was taking all the impurities out of your body and then it would exit. But I'm on the same page as Toni. We're not sea creatures. It comes from the sea, and I don't I don't think we should, you know,
Yeah, I don't
do
think
it.
sea moss or Irish moss or Jamaican moss is doing that, what you mentioned. But if you feel that you need more minerals, and yeah, it's like when our diet is this is what I see happening, and I think we talked about that before, is that people stay on a regular diet and then they see, oh, the sea moss, it heals this, it heals that, and it's so good, and then you don't change your diet, and
Yeah.
then you're not healing, and nothing is happening.
Exactly.
So that is usually what I feel that is wrong, and that is the case with all the supplements too. I mean, it's like it's what I did. I mean, I ate whatever I wanted to eat. I was on a fairly I was whole foods, plant-based, fairly healthy diet at first before I started all raw, but and a ton of supplements. It didn't do me any good. I have not heard that it is hurting you, but what is hurting you is usually not doing all the things you need to do to get healthy, and that is, the breathing, the exercise, Gary's exercise, and going to high fruit. And don't we always say it's not about what you really add to your diet, it's what you start leaving out that is making you healthier. So, okay, Katie.
Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate that. Okay, the next one was if oil is not good for us because it stops our detox, then what about using oil on our bodies if we have dry skin? But there's another question too. And what about using oil when you have to do these parasite cleanses because these cleanses have you drinking oil?
Well, I don't know what I'm going to the last question. I don't know what kind of cleanse that was, but I've never heard of a parasite cleanse that
Yeah.
uses oil. You do? You did, Gary?
No, no, I haven't.
No, no, that is a little misunderstanding, I think, because that
There's I think it's called Justin Carpenter did it a couple years ago, and you had to drink like some olive oil juice I mean it's not a juice, sorry, olive oil, and then you take these supplements. I'm trying
Mm.
to think. And then I thought I saw another parasite cleanse somewhere that also said you drink olive oil. So I guess, yeah, but that to me, putting oil in my mouth and in my body, it just does not resonate with me. And so then I'm like, but I want to get rid of these parasites. So then I'm like, what
well,
do I,
the thing
yeah.
with there is wormwood for parasites. Dr. Morse
Right.
has good parasite cleanse. Black walnut. What is the other one? Oh, I just had a client who was actually allergic to it. Clove. Clove is
Yeah.
uh, is
Well,
one, and yeah, you can make a mixture of that and drink that, but never drink any oil. Never, ever, ever.
yeah. And that Dr. Gundry, the world's leading heart surgeon, he's always telling you to take a shot of olive oil every morning.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people promoting it now, and it makes me actually pretty sick because Gundry was also the one who promoted, what was it? The way he was saying it was that all the fruits and all the veggies, all the healthy stuff, they had oxalates. Oh yeah, oxalates in it. And that would make you sick. But he had a supplement that you could take, and then you could eat whatever you want. And yeah, I used it. Of course not.
One size fits all.
Yeah, yeah, and because when you're desperate and you look things up and you see, oh, he's a doctor, and you see good reviews, which probably are 99% fake, if not 100, then
Yep.
it's like, well, let's try it out. I always try it a minimum of 3 months, then to figure out this is all a scam,
Hmm.
and So no, when he was promoting that stuff, it's probably 10 years ago. He didn't say he was a heart surgeon. Now all of a sudden he is a well-known heart surgeon. I hadn't heard that one before, but that's a new one.
Yeah.
So no, there is no oils drinking. People do use the liver cleanse with oil, and we don't like that either. I mean, I know it's still on the Dr. Morse's website, and they have a handout about it on how to do it, but he even says himself he is not a fan of it. And I knew people who did that weekly, and it will wreck your body. It don't. But then with the skin, the key is if you are eating the correct food for your species, you don't have a dry skin.
Right.
So that's just it. I mean, it's like, okay, we can keep eating the junk that we want, and the skin is dry. And believe me, there's a lot of your own experience. And with me, it's like, if I don't eat correctly, yes, I have dry skin. If I eat correctly, it goes away. It's just as simple as that. So, yeah, we don't, you can, I mean, there are lotions. I am particularly fond of Rosemary Glad Stars lotion. And you can look it up. It's the Spirit Health Farm or something. They're selling it. I use that once a week on my face, and because I like it, and I think there is some I don't know if it's yoga oil, one of these things, and it is very very little, and I feel that won't harm you. But look up Rosemary Glad Star skin lotion. It is sold ready. The recipe is online. Her whole recipe book is actually, I have it in PDF. So if you want it, I can send it to whoever likes it. But and Dr. Morse was actually selling it at this is years ago when I came a lot at his clinic. When I went to his clinic quite often, that was yeah, he was selling the Rosemary Gladstar. So that is how I got to know about her, and he was okay with using that on your body.
I do have to say that I am guilty of coconut oil, though, and especially in the winter, which we just talked about before we even got on the show, where I no longer have the winter eczema on my hands. I do not like using it on my hands, but I would use it on my face. I don't know if it's like the, what do they call it, like windburn or whatever, but like
Mhm.
through the winter, like my cheeks just get so um dry and like painful, like, but they don't turn like, I mean, obviously they're red if I'm out in the cold, but I am guilty of coconut oil on my face, especially in the winter.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with coconut oil. That you can put that in a smoothie or something like that, and you're not just drinking oil.
No, no,
There's
no, I'd
other
never.
things in. Yeah,
I'd never drink oil, and oil is oil no matter what when you really break it down. But
right.
I've been told too, like coconut, if we're gonna eat any meat, that's the meat for us is coconut meat.
Yeah,
So that's why I always kind of took it in stride that way. Um,
yeah.
and I don't do oil pulling or anything like that either. That always just kind of made me sick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, coconut oil, for sure.
Yep.
But
Okay.
that's what I was gonna say real quick. Your
Yeah.
skin is your third kidney. So any oil you are putting on yourself, and even though I know that, I still do that. Just be aware of that. So any oil you are putting on, that's your third kidney, and your kidney is absorbing that oil in one way, shape, or form. So just be aware of that.
Thank you for that, everyone. Okay. Oh wait, no, you already answered that because when we were talking, I was like, well, can you give me another recommendation? And I did pull up that lotion, and they have a face cream too, and it's not that expensive. So,
Yeah,
anyways, good, good, good.
that is the one that I use. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I can't remember who sent me this one, but 2 shows ago we talked about how technology affects us. And if the technology has a negative effect on us, how do we protect ourselves while living in an age where technology keeps advancing? These energies of technology are everywhere.
Well, what I have been using is EMF protection. I use that on my phone. And I am on the mailing list of a company that is called emfshield.com. And they had a special now on whole house protection. And I was like, just it is about $1,000. So, and I was like, well, maybe someday. And you can read whatever it does, how it works on emfshield.com. So that is the only thing that I would do because, yeah, I mean, I'm at the computer most of the day. And the rest of the day, I have a phone in my hand. So, so whatever I researching, reading, and I think that goes for most of us. I don't spend a lot of time outside, it is always around this stuff. I don't have the router in my office. I actually have it in the dining room, and that's, half the house away from me. But still, it's there is a lot of radiation around us, and we can protect and there are garments, hats, baseball caps that protect you.
Yeah, they have metal in them. That I mean, it's real soft fabric, but
Yeah,
that metal is keeps
I
it. It's a
found
Faraday cage, basically.
Yeah, and I found one now because my husband and I, we never wanted to have those earbuds. But, if he's driving that truck and he's calling me, I can barely hear him over the sound of the truck. So he was using these, I got these earbuds for him, and we never wanted them because of, it is Bluetooth stuff.
Mm.
It has a lot of radiation. They even have the protection for these things. So there are ways that you can limit it.
Grounding to the earth, getting a grounding mat. If you get a
Yeah,
grounding mat and put it in front of your computer, the EMF from the computer won't go into you.
yeah. I do have a ground. I sleep on a grounding sheet. I can't say I ever noticed any difference. My pillow is grounding. I haven't gotten one for in my office yet. Could do that too. So there are options, and it's unfortunate that we have to spend extra money to protect ourselves from all these, well, you can call it gadget, but became such a big part of our lives. I mean, I've been at the computer daily since 95 when I started developing websites. So and that it was not just a few hours, you had the computer many hours in a day. And now the phones. So yeah, we do need the protection, and but I feel we also have the benefits of these things, and new things are coming out. And if something new is coming out, there will always be some smart person who finds a protection for it. So I decided I'm not going to worry about it.
Also, at the end of the day, the more healthy you make yourself, the more your body can get rid of.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if your body is healthy, you're going to absorb it, but your body's going to be able to get rid of it. So
Right. Well, for those few people, this is also it's a frequency, right? And it's a pulse, and our frequency is a wave. So it's constantly tapping on us a billion times a second. And it's outside too. I mean, it's everywhere. So you can change that through your breath, through your breathing, through your hydration. And there's you can eliminate that frequency from coming in through your aura into your body. And just breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, and doing that 2 or 3 times a day, like maybe 5 or 10 times, 2 or 3 times a day, will help. Grounding is the big thing, and they have grounding shoes too, and they have the Faraday underwear, and they have the Faraday hat to protect you from the pulse. So yeah, we have options, but not many people know about those options, you know. And that's something we have to do, is we have to have curiosity and go research this stuff. They're building Faraday houses. People are so sensitive to it. So the whole house is a Faraday cage. When they walk inside, there's no EMFs in the house.
Wow. Well,
But
and
if you have a Faraday cage, at your house, then you wouldn't be able to use your phone in your house either.
Right.
And
Right.
lead, can anyone find lead paint anymore?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just
No,
move into
and
an old house.
I know, because of the kids, right?
Yeah,
Chewing
right.
on the windowsills.
So many of them are eating the walls.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we won't turn this
So
into a conspiracy show.
I know I worked with lead-based paint for 20 years, and
Yeah.
I dip my brush in my coffee every once in a while. I drink the
Oh,
coffee anyway, and
that's
I
right.
got tested for lead and nothing. So just so you know.
Yep.
that's funny because last night Matt and I were just talking about lead paint. Okay, thanks everyone for that. Okay, moving on to the next question, which I think we're gonna maybe do a show in our future about this. But somebody asked, what would the daily schedule look like for someone who's starting a detox journey? What would their weekly healing journey look like? And I think we talked about possibly doing a show about kind of that. And I explained to this person, well, it's going to be different for every person. But
Yes.
what are some of your guys' ideas?
Well, Gary, go ahead.
To start the cleanse, is that was the question, right?
Yeah, I think so because this person is like brand new.
Okay. First, get mentally prepared. If you decide you're going to do a 10-day cleanse and your body says get out on day 5, get out, or have something to eat and then go back into it. But you want to keep your body balanced. Uh, Dr. Morse says push through it or slow it down. And how you slow it down is maybe you'd have a green smoothie so that the digestive system has something to work on. If you start to have a cold and flu-like symptom, you're breaking more toxins loose than the body is able to eliminate, so it gives you a cold and flu-like symptom. So at that point, that's when maybe you might think about having maybe, well, like I said, the green smoothie or something like that, just to slow it down. Uh, and then just, but you have to be aware. It's this thing up here that gets in the way. Uh, just slowly move into it. Most people that I start them on a live liquid, 32 ounces a day, and they add it into their current diet. And then they skip a meal and they still have the 32 ounces. So instead of having, I don't know, if you have 3 meals or you have 2, you cut one out and maybe have 64 ounces of live liquids. And you can even shift the live liquids. You can have fruit juices, you can have, and the Master Cleanse actually is a fruit juice because the lemon is a fruit. Uh, but maybe have an orange or something like that. I can't have oranges; they really bother me. Um, and I think it's because they're not tree ripened. I used to be able to have them when I was a kid, but anyway. And keep that lymphatic system flowing. Open those 6 lymphatic gates. Do your breath work as you are moving into your cleanse, because all the stuff that breaks loose is in the lymphatic system, and that's what gives you that cold and flu-like symptom. So if you keep your breathing, you get your diaphragm, and is the largest lymphatic pump and blood pump, and the balls of your feet. So there's 3 major pumps for the lymphatic system. So that's why walking is so good for us. We're usually breathing through our nose, creating nitric oxide, which helps the heart relax, the arteries and veins relax, and they're able to pump blood through easier. Grounding to the earth, it charges all your red blood cells because they carry a negative electromagnetic charge. Uh, but uh, out of everything that I've just said, the most important thing to do is to start and see what your body says. And then you can start to adjust from there and not to be afraid of it. But we're so trained to overeat that it's just remarkable. We cannot eat enough. We're eating 3 meals a day. We're eating before we go to bed. We're eating, and that's when you lay down at night, that's when your lower body lymphatically drains up to these gates. So that's why you want to make sure your gates are open before you go to sleep. And walk, get outside and move around and breathe, and you don't have to worry about trampolines and all this other stuff. Just walk, especially if it's in the woods, because the trees are the other half of our lungs, all plants actually, because they live off what we breathe out and we live off what they breathe out, which is oxygen. Just have that relationship with nature. We've gotten so far away from nature, we've forgotten. We're so domesticated and so domesticated to a particular temperature. And our body is actually made to be in extreme variations of everything. We're eating the same thing all the time, and the factory food is getting worse and worse, and hopefully that's going to be straightened out. But who knows? But until then, we have to be the masters of our body, the masters of our breath. We're going to have to breathe the whole time we're here. So why not learn how to maximize that to increase our health and engage this and our heart? Because what's in the middle is, our mouth, and that's our story. And it's either too much in the mind. It can be too much in the heart, too. We need that balance between the two. And it comes out through the words we speak and the intention we put on those. But the most important thing you can do is start. And that's where I'll leave it right there.
If I may add something to it, Gary.
Absolutely.
My approach is actually always finding out somebody's why, and usually when they have their why, they are ready to start. And the mucusless foods list is always for everybody. If they're brand new to it or know a lot about mucusless foods or alkaline, a lot of people use alkaline foods. I can't say that I feel that that is the correct way to go, but okay, because then you're talking about only about the pHs, which is different in different parts of the body. I like the approach of the mucusless foods, and I posted the website. It is the PDF. It directs you to the PDF. And here you can see the foods that are not harming you and the foods that are harming you. And when people know which foods are actually harming them and how that they get to the point of dis-ease and being uncomfortable, they know which one it is. And once people understand that, it's much easier to keep going. So we have yours, that people start. And I think when they come to us and ask the question, they are ready to start. But it is often difficult. It's like, now, what can I eat? What should I eat? Can I have my coffee? And my question is also how much do you drink? Because I do feel that drinking water is very important. But when you look at that mucusless foods list, I put everything for the detox in green, but everything from 1 to 7 is transitioning. So I'm not going to tell anybody unless they have cancer and they tell me I have 2 months to live, then it's like all or nothing and start, on eating all grapes. Other than that, it start slow. Your detox, your healing, it's not an overnight thing. It is a life-changing, life-changing choice that you are making because you want to be healthier. And once you start, it has to be sustainable. If I tell people, yeah, well, they ask me, what do you eat? And my ultimate diet is, of course, not adding cheese, which I did recently, and I paid dearly for it, so won't do it again. But it is, if I tell people you now you have to go on all fruit, it's not sustainable. They feel like after 1 or 2 days, no, I can't do that. But if you, like what Gary said, you add or replace, I would like, if you are a heavy coffee drinker, start doing less and less. When I stopped, I had a week long a bad headache, but I expected it. I didn't mind. I wanted to get off of it. And so that worked. But once you start your day then with fruit, that's already a big step. And you are replacing at least one meal already. And then that whole transitioning part, it can take you as long as you need it to be. I think all in all, for me, it was a year before I was on all fruit. And it started with being all raw, and you just go from there. And if you need an occasional, then, when you're transitioning and you want to eat the sweet potato, preferably steamed, go for it, enjoy it, and don't feel guilty about it. But you have to find a balance that work with the kind of work that you do. Some people are, I'm the lucky one. I always worked from home. But there are people that have to go to work 6, 7 in the morning. How do you do that? And I have now experience with my husband being on the road for 5 days a week. And we had to figure out how to do it. Well, now we need like maybe an hour, 2 hours the day before he leaves, or early in the morning, and it is making smoothies, having a bag full with a lot of fruits, the bananas, the apples, the oranges, the whatever, the grapes, whatever is in season. And he has a 1 liter smoothies. And what else? Oh, of course, the salads. We can make our own dressing and prepare it all the day before. So if you have a job and you need to bring your own food, this is how you can do it. You can make it the evening before. And when you look at that mucusless foods list, there is a lot. It's not that you are being deprived of food, because people think, oh my gosh, I cannot eat meat, dairy, or eggs. What am I going to eat? And it's like it's not an easy thing to do. I absolutely understand that. But once you are at the point that you can do it, it is easy. It may be the hardest thing that you start working on, but once you find your balance, it's easy. You don't even think about, oh my gosh, what am I going to make for dinner? Or I need to find a recipe for this or for that. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant when someone in one of the Dr. Morse groups posted, it's like, here is a recipe. And he had one plate with a unpeeled tangerine and one plate with a peeled tangerine. Here's your recipe. And it is actually as simple as that. So, so what you eat on a daily basis may be different from all of us. Gary's advice, as in starting with the exercises, the breathing, the walking, which is not, the exercises and the breathing is possible for all of us. We can do that at home. We have no excuse to not do it. But taking a walk in nature may not be possible for just, for everyone. And it's possible here, but I live in an area that doesn't have clean air, really. It's a mining area. It's phosphate mining. It's a lot of nasty dust in the air. So I spent more time inside and outside, and yeah, I wish it would be different, but it's not. So it comes back to it. I am making it up way too long already. But it comes back to it. Use that mucusless foods list. The link is in the chat, and mucuslessfoods.com. It is that easy. And see everything that you can eat and find your balance. And if you have questions, there's Gary, there's Katie, there's Sarah, and I'm here. So that was my idea about
I'll try to make mine super quick, and I'm going to use my husband as an example. So my husband is still a meat eater, but he has definitely changed over the years, and it was something he didn't have to do urgently. Some of his numbers were getting a little bit high, and he did try the detox thing in the very beginning, and he was so sick. I mean, it was like 2 weeks. And so the next time it was up to him when he wanted to try it on his own. And he started out with his orange juice in the morning, and then we would have orange juice in the afternoon as well. And so that was like the easiest thing we could do. It was mono eating. It cured my winter eczema, like I said, too. Actually, I should say my body cured itself, and the orange juice allowed it to. But and then he would come home and he would have maybe like some chicken and just whatever other kind of side he had. And then it started progressing from there, where he would add in salads, he would add in more fruit, he would add, and now he like turns to fruit. And guess what happened to all of his numbers? They all came back down normal and stuff, which that's a whole nother topic, blood testing and stuff like that. But what the doctors want to see. So now his daily, like when he travels a lot as well too, he'll still take little things here and there that might be meat based, or like he'll have like a chicken and rice soup or something like that. But he starts everything out with his fruits, his vegetables, his salads. He drinks tons of water and things like that. So that's kind of like what his detox journey has looked like. And he's been able to do it slowly. But again, like Toni said, unless you have cancer, you'll have a few little bit to live or whatever, that's when we're going to hit hard. And unfortunately, that's when most people turn to Gary, Toni, or Dr. Morse, is when they're on their last legs. And that's why it's always good to start in any way, shape, or form. Start now. And your best thing you can do is replace your your break fast with fruits.
Yeah, definitely. Don't wait until your doctor tells you you have 2 or 6 months to live, because that is a sad thing.
It's a lot harder to reverse too. It's not hard, but it's harder on the person, the stress, and on the whole body, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually too. So
And it hurts us too. We
yes,
don't like to hear to only get to meet you at the very end of your life,
right.
So.
And to bring them, because I've had a lot of them come to me and they have completely recovered. And one woman only had 14 days to live,
That's
according to the
amazing.
doctors. And
Mhm.
this is the most important thing. Don't wait till you only have 14 days to live. But
Absolutely.
it was a journey. It's been 4 or 5 years. She could be a model today. I mean, she is absolutely stunning. But she had a paralyzed face, 70 listed diseases, and 14 days to live when she found me on the internet. I've never met her. Uh, in 10 months, no paralysis. Uh, I don't even know if any of the diseases had to be gone because her skin was absolutely perfect. Um, but they were just done with her. They just, okay, this is what. And if a doctor tells you how many days you have to live, he's probably creating what he's telling you. Okay, in 14 days, you won't be here anymore. How do I know? Because I'm creating it, right? They're not gods. They don't know. And that's something we have to really focus on is they throw stuff around like they are gods. Like, we know this about the body. We know everything there is to know about the body. Oh, in 2016, we found the glymphatic system, which is really the lymphatic system, but somebody else discovered it. Now, like Dr. Moore says, I can't wait for him to find the lymphatic system in the spine because they haven't decided, and it'll have a different name because they can't wait to name things. Like there's 262 different names for synthetic sugar, for artificial sugar or processed sugar, let's put it that way. And they can put it on labels. And they put it on. It might have 4 or 5 different types of sugar, but because you don't know the name, sugar is actually the number one ingredient. And sugar lowers your energy. So, okay, I'm done.
Okay, thanks everyone. Okay, the next question. I thought this one is an interesting question. So, a couple of times during our shows, I know Sarah and I personally have shared like, as we clean out our bodies, there's certain smells that bother us. And so somebody asked, when you're healing, or wait, what did they say? Is there a point in your healing journey that you get so cleaned out that it's difficult to live like outside of your house because your house becomes your safe zone, you know? And then when you go outside, are you so clean that you just really can't function outside of your house? I
Yeah,
thought it was an interesting question.
yeah, it is, but I think you're thinking too far ahead because it may or it may not happen. And then when we get to the point what Gary just mentioned is like we can create it. I mean, okay, something, it may sound silly. I was diagnosed when I was 21. I had asthmatic bronchitis, I had pneumonia, and I was told I was allergic for cigarette smoke and in exhaust from cars. So I lived in the city. I smoked. I stopped smoking, and I was only 21. I hadn't smoked for maybe a few months. Anyway, now it is so bad that when I see through a window somebody smoking, I have to see it, and I start coughing. I don't even smell it, you know. So this is how your brain can play tricks on you. I do have to say that I got a few years ago. I got in a car with a friend, and she had used some perfume, and oh my gosh, I couldn't breathe even. It was that bad. Um, yeah. I used to use perfume, before I moved to Florida because I didn't want to get the bugs being attracted to my perfume. I stopped using it, but I loved using it. Now, if I'm on a farmer's market and somebody is even quite a few feet away, and it smells like a whole perfume store, but I don't think people are using as much as they used to. And because I don't smell it as much anymore. But I feel this is not something that you're going to worry about because yeah, we do get more sensitive. We don't want the toxins in our body, and we don't want to smell it. But yeah.
Tony, I'm very sensitive. Like we drive around our neighborhood every night with our son. And in the summertime we do golf carts. And I can tell who's doing laundry in what house,
Oh
even
yeah,
outside.
yeah.
And if somebody wears perfume around me, it's like an instant headache between my eyes. And I can, if someone walks past me, I'm like, they use Tide. They used OxyClean today. They have scent beads. Like I can pinpoint it down. It is, it is not a gift. But
But
I
has
can
it
like,
has it gotten worse than for you, or is it getting
um,
worse?
it's about the same. But what I was told, and I feel like it came from Thad. So I'm hoping maybe you guys can answer this question, but isn't it something in our liver that still has to come out?
I don't know.
Gary?
No, that's I don't know the answer to that. I know why a lot of people are sensitive to perfumes and things because they're synthetic estrogen.
Yes. Maybe
And
it's something like that.
yeah, your car air fresheners and all that, it's all synthetic estrogen. That's what
Hmm.
holds the scent there. And so it's synthetic, so it's not natural.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like,
for me, uh, I just finished a 10-day cleanse. And but what I've found for probably the past, I don't know, maybe 5 years, if I go in a store, when I walk by the aisle with all the sugars and cookies and all that stuff, I can smell the sugar. And and it makes me not a fan. That doesn't mean I don't eat sugar. It means in the concentration of those aisles, I can't even walk down them anymore. Because I know it's not, well, for one thing, I don't know it's not good for me.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, And there are some perfumes that, you know, you're just like, oh my God, did you fall into that bottle or what? Uh,
Mhm.
so just knowing that it's estrogen and that it's synthetic and you're breathing it in, it's becoming part of you. So just those things.
Is that always the case in Gary? Because when now I remember, of course, I was thinking at perfumes only, but if I walk in a grocery store along the bread aisle, oh my gosh, I feel like throwing up. It's that bad.
Yep.
And there was in one of the health food stores near the cash register, they had this display with goat milk soaps. I couldn't be there. I couldn't breathe. There's something in it. I never even realized exactly what it was.
And the only reason that we can go in a store and not smell that is because we're already contaminated by it.
Mhm.
And our
We're nose
sense of
blind.
smell, yeah, that's because of the congestion, maybe inflammation uh, in the sinuses. It it dulls the frequency, and this happens to a lot of guys. I think because of the way they work and things, you know, because they're always around smoke and all this stuff, right? And it causes a little inflammation in our sense of smell. So it takes something really strong for us to be able to smell it. But as we clean out, and I mean, I've been doing cleanses since 1999, and uh, when I do, my nose becomes more sensitive because the inflammation's leaving my body, and all the frequencies are wide open for those to come in. And if they're inflamed and you're not able, like women can smell 10 times better than men ever thought of. Uh, and if you don't think so, just go in a woman's bathroom and then go in a men's bathroom. The difference is horrific in the men's bathroom. Uh, but it's just part of being human, you know. Your body is telling you it doesn't want that. That's basically what your body is doing. It's saying that's too intense for me. Uh,
But yeah, I don't really feel that we would not be able to live outside our house. Although I must say, when I was diagnosed with those allergies, I moved out of the city into the country where it wouldn't be as bad as being in the city. I never could go into bars because, going out, dancing, all that stuff, I couldn't do it because, I couldn't breathe then. But so you change your life around it. And I think if you're highly sensitive and wherever you live makes it that you cannot be outside, then it's like, okay, then maybe time to move. And I know that sounds radical, but sometimes that may be the only choice.
And after saying all of that, I know it sounds bad, but it's not. I mean,
no, it's
yeah,
not.
I mean, you smell it all, but being healthy is so much more than, you got to change your thought process of what are you going to be missing? Change it to what are you going to be getting? I mean, there's nobody that can come around me that I can't smell you coming first. No kidding. But and also too, like, we're not supposed to smell, and the more you're on this lifestyle, the more your
Right.
body is not going to smell. Your spouse or significant other or whatever shouldn't have to wear like cool water cologne to fool you into wanting you to be around them. You should be naturally attracted to their scent, and
Yeah.
that's some of the chemistry stuff that they've messed with in our minds. um yeah, I mean, like, I don't use scent on our laundry, and but boy, I can smell those scent beads from a mile away.
Hmm.
And I mean, my life has not changed because of it, I guess. I mean, I can just tell like what you're doing. Like, I know what you used without, you even having to be that close to me. So on a really nice night, there's horses that are probably, well, I don't know, less than a mile away. But if the wind is right, I can smell them. My husband was like, "You're crazy." And I was like, "I know they're over there. I can smell them."
Hmm. Yeah, and again, if the only reason that you can't smell certain things is because you're congested. And once you get that, and that's what's making you the dis-ease in your body. And when you cleanse and you get rid of that, you want to be able to smell better. You want to be able to hear better. You want to be able to taste better. To your touch, your sensitivity to touch increases. So to me, that's what being human is about.
That
And
just reminded me of something, Gary. It's almost like, you know how like when people take seizure medicine, and I know we've talked about this before too, Katie, but when you take a seizure medicine, it doesn't mean that your body's not having the seizure. It just means you can't see the seizure because it's what like relaxing your muscles during the seizure. The seizure is still happening. So you are still being exposed to all of these scents, all these chemicals and everything. It's just you're dulled from being able to smell it. So you're still smelling it regardless. It's just you can't smell it at this point.
All right, guys, we're moving on.
Okay, thanks everyone. Okay, the next one is about oil pulling. Is this something that you do twice a day in the beginning of your detox, and then you lessen the frequency as you become cleaner? Let's see. How do you know when you need to only do it like maybe once a day or just a couple of times a week or a month?
I hope I may give Dr. Morse's answer is a no, 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 no to oil pulling.
Oh,
It still gets in the body. He says use heal all tea and swish it around.
Mm-hmm.
And
you drink lemon juice.
You can do that several times a day.
Lemon water, I'm sorry, with lemon juice.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
It's even the baking soda is okay. It's better than the oil.
And no to flossing. Like no. Like if something's in your tooth, okay, gently go get it. But you know, oh my gosh, I watch people floss and I'm like, I hear your gum screaming. Like, stop. Use a water pick. And I can't believe I totally forgot about the water pick for the longest time. And quit using those plastic toothbrushes. No. Use a washcloth. Don't even brush your teeth.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, you know, when you say no flossing, and now are they called flossers or something?
Oh yeah.
They come in a bag, so you can take those everywhere, and then they're found on the ground. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know about oil pulling. I've never done it because again, I just can't imagine putting oil in my mouth. So that's very interesting. Okay, so good to know. Just use lemon water, and then the baking soda, because Toni, you mentioned that, do you just mix that with water and then swish it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, just this one thing, well, it might be more than one, but anyway, yeah, don't floss. That's the biggie. If your gums are swollen and they're red, especially don't floss. Just increase vitamin C through fruits, berries, melons. And I myself, and I think everybody knows that, I prefer the Master Cleanse, and because it's still fruit, but it doesn't cost that much to do. But if you over here on the side, you bite down, you feel a muscle pop out right there. Just drag down here 9 times. Okay, and that'll help that relax. This right here is responsible for chewing at night. And then down underneath your jaw, below your jawbone, just below it, you have to be really careful because could be really sensitive. This is where your teeth drain down here. So you want to push that up towards this gate 2 right here. You want to push that up. You do from the chin all the way back. And then on this side, you do the same thing. You'd bite down, you draw down on that muscle. This is moving lymph and it's helping that muscle relax. And then you start working your way back. But since I've been doing the 6 lymphatic gates, this used to be horrible on me. I couldn't even touch underneath here. I didn't know why. I just knew that I couldn't. And that's what it was. My teeth were trying to drain, and when it backs up in your teeth, okay? And this is why a lot of people do oil pulling, right? So when it backs up in your teeth, it causes plaque, it causes decay. So you need to keep these open so that these can drain and your gums and your teeth will remain healthy. I learned that a little late in life, but I'm willing to share it.
Thank you, Gary. And now I have a question that is personal. But since we are on teeth in those little exercises, is I had a botched dental procedure which locked my jaws to a point that my teeth only I can only open my mouth about, well, what is it, 1/3 of an inch, half an inch, maybe. And it is absolutely locked. And it has been since since I was 29, so it's a long time. What exercise would you use for that?
On the back of the jaw back here, there's a little hole, and you can go back there. The jaw is locked in that position, and there are hinges right here, and those hinges are bound. So you'd go back in there and you'd work that. There's lymph nodes back there too, and that could be causing part of the problem if they're swollen. And you just use your finger, you put it back there, and you get in that little hole, and it hurts like you know what. And you work that, and it loosens the jaw. There's a lot of tension and stress in the jaw right now. So that's what I would do for that. And usually a chiropractor would do that. Now, a lot of people don't believe in chiropractors, but those that do, that's what I would do. I would go to a chiropractor and tell him what's going on, and he would loosen that up. And you can do that right through on the back side there. There's a little hole. It's just right for your little finger. You put that in there and you work that, and that'll work that lymph node, because there's another one on the outside. The biggest one in the neck is right here. So it's almost the same spot. It probably is. They're just working it from the inside. And that'll help loosen that up so that you can open your jaw.
Okay,
And you'd have to do both sides.
right. Okay, next.
One question though I had too is what kind of dentist would you recommend then if you do have any kind of problems? I have heard Dr. Morse talk about one kind of down in his location. So what kind of dentist would be recommended?
He actually mentioned, because we learned now we need to go to what is called a biological something dentist, and who would do things the correct way and not use mercury, etc., and have safety guards in place. Dr. Morse actually said because he had a lot of his teeth done, he went to a regular dentist and just a good dentist. So it's up to you. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
The holistic dentists are good, but they cost a lot more.
And they're usually not covered by insurance. So
Right.
yep. And if you're having any of your mercury fillings removed, which I still have all of mine from many, many years ago. So I've looked for somebody to possibly take them out, but I have no issues with them at this point. So I figure I'm just kind of letting them go, and maybe my body will pop them out on their own eventually. So who knows?
Yeah.
And like Gary said, vitamin C, and lemons have tons of vitamin C in them.
Mhm.
All right, we have a few more minutes. Katie?
Okay, so the next question is, contact lenses aren't natural, so are they bad for our eyes and our health? Is it better to wear glasses rather than contact lenses?
Well, contact lenses, they are essentially a foreign object to your eye.
Right.
And in addition, the salt in the saline, the solution is an irritant. So I personally feel I've had long time ago, I had contact lenses, and they were so bad that I had actually the cells keep growing, they keep repeating, and it was on top of each other. So there was no natural, yeah, how do you say that? Natural detox of the eyes, because we detox everywhere, or natural healing. So I was blind for a while. And that was, they have these soft contact lenses, and it was trying it out. And that was the end for me for any contact lens. So I'm not a fan of contact lenses, and and yeah, they are a foreign object in your eye, and your body doesn't want that.
Right. And the other thing is, most of us don't even have to wear glasses. We need to alkalize upper brain and nerve. Well, the fluid in there, there's lymphatic fluid in there. So even glaucoma, which is on the extreme side, but as the acids build in your eyes, it changes the shape of the eyeball and it bends the lens in different directions. Then they give you glasses. So when you're doing a cleanse, like when I did the Master Cleanse first time, and I wore double vision glasses from the time I was 6 years old. The very first pair I had was double vision. Uh, in 1999, when I did my first 10-day cleanse, by day 7, I couldn't wear my glasses anymore, and I've never worn them since, from 1999 to today. So when my diet gets off, my eyes start to go out of focus again, and I do the cleanse, and it comes back. So if you can get those to alkalize, then you won't even need glasses, contacts, you won't need anything. You can just use your eyeballs.
Yeah, well, Gary, that depends on what it is. I haven't been that lucky. I had to say, when I started on the high fruit or raw and high fruit, is that my night vision got better, a lot better. But I don't know how you say it here, but my glasses were like a minus 6.5. And it's a different world when I don't wear glasses. I don't
Well,
see
it
much.
was for me too. It was for me too. But
Wow. Well, well, I keep trying, you know. It's like I don't mind my glasses. It's I've been wearing them since I was 7 years old. In my teens, I refused to wear them until I realized that when we were on a bicycle and I passed my mom, she came from the other side and I didn't recognize her, and I thought, okay, now it's time to put them back on because I don't see much. But
Uh,
yeah, it's like they're always dirty, so they're always somewhere. And I have different glasses. I have glasses for the computer. I can read. This is amazing. I can read the tiniest and tiniest prints without any glasses.
mhm.
And so, okay, so I still have a little advantage of how my eyes are.
Are you reading tiny print on a computer screen?
Yeah,
Okay, so what that is it's the same as like those eye exercises where you have to peer through that tiny little hole.
yeah.
Anytime we look at a computer screen, it's like you're looking through a screen door and your eyes are having to strain to focus in to that computer screen. And so the smaller it is, the more you're trying to look through that tiny little hole to be able to read it. So that could be the reason of it. I'm not an eye doctor or any doctor of any sort, but that's what I was told about like when you stare at computer monitors for too long. I'm somebody that I no longer work there, but I looked at massive spreadsheets all the time and I'd have to make them super small. And so that's what I was told when I went and saw an eye doctor. The other thing is too is it's all about like lymph stagnation in your head. Is that correct?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, I mean, in orange juice, like I know that you have trouble with orange juice, Gary, but orange juice is a great polar of lymph stagnation in your head and getting mucus out. I'm sure there's other things other than orange juice. I imagine just fruit in general. But again, now we're going back to the very first question. Are your kidneys open? Is there anywhere that this can go? What Gary talked about. Do you have that lymphatic gate open up in your head and everywhere? So these are everything works in unison together. So everything we're talking about, the grounding, the walking, the breathing, the eating right, you got to get all this working together. Like we're a great machine, and it's the same as your car. Like, you know, if you have no oil, it's not going to work. If you have no gas, it's not going to work. If you're clogged up somewhere, guess what? It's not going to work. So once you get it all running together and everything's firing, everything's working.
That's right. And it's not difficult. I mean, that sounds difficult, but we walk every day, we breathe every day, we eat every day, we drink liquids every day. So it's just a matter of fine tuning those so that they work with your body. And that's the most important part, is what works for your body. Because what works for yours might not work for that person over there, because we're all different. But we're all basically the same. We need proper hydration, nutrition, oxygen. We need movement, not running, not doing CrossFit. It's not that you can't do that stuff, but if you're sick, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be just doing the movements, the qigong, the just a gentle walk, and stop and smell the roses and look at the neighborhood and turn that TV off, because when you step outside, it's a whole different world than what you see inside that box. And rest. Rest is one of the most important things you can do. And that, I mean, and just enjoy life. Find things to laugh about. Laughter is the best medicine. In the qigong classes here, we do laughing yoga, and a lot of people, when they first come in, think it's kind of weird. But by the second and third class, they're asking me to do it, because sometimes I, like, it's been an hour and a half, and I said, okay, I guess we're done. So what? No laughing yoga tonight? Okay, we'll do it. And just find the joy in life. All levels of life are here. Everything is all here, just waiting for us to tap into it. And our story will take us to it, to the infinite possibilities that await us in this world of abundance, and drop the fear, the scarcity, and the self-doubt, which is not an easy thing to do, but you can do it, and you can do it through breath. All emotion comes in through the breath, all emotion leaves through the breath. So those are the things, and we need to wash the internal body. We spend billions of dollars a year to wash the outside of the body, and all that stuff came from the inside. When we wash the inside and cleanse the inside of our body, it changes the whole outside. Our skin is telling us what's going on in our body, but we've just lost our total connection to it, because we're going to people that are profiting from our dis-ease in our body. And they're telling us how long we have to live, and we'll try to get 5 years so you can watch your kids graduate or get married, or your grandchildren coming, or whatever it is. And we feel blessed because maybe somebody got that 5 years. Well, that's kind of, I don't know if I'd want to get down that rabbit hole.
Katie, next.
Okay, here's my next question. The company that sells the Dr. Morse tinctures, they sell them in kits, and you can buy like a 16-week program with those kits. Let's see. Do you do that once? And then if necessary, take only the tinctures that you still need? Or are these kits to be repeated like every year or every couple of years? What's the story on these kits?
That all depends on your health in where you are at. Of course, it can be repeated. Now, I have to say, it was the first thing I learned from Dr. Morse. He said he did put a kit together, but he is not a fan of it. It was just to make it easy for people, and I looked at the kits, how they are today, how they put together, and I noticed there's no adrenal formula in any of the kits. At least not in the first two kits, week 1 and 2 and week 3 and 4. So for the first month, well, you may be a person who absolutely needs these adrenal herbs. Now, you specifically asked for the kids, but I do feel that it would be a great investment to talk with a counselor figure out what you need. The basic is always the two kidney. Well, there are 4 kidney formulas, so we do two. That was called the 1 and 2. Kidney and bladder formula, the adrenal, the endocrine, and then you have the parasite cleanse and the GI renew. And you can add, this is always a good one, is the blood support and the blood circulation. That is, if you have tumors, I would be careful with the blood circulation. But you have the bone and connective tissue, and somebody may specifically need that one. You have the brain and nerve health. People always think, oh, I have problems with my memory. I need the brain and nerve health. Yeah, you may, but you may also need to start on a different diet and do the exercises that Gary has been teaching us. And of course, change the diet. I already mentioned that. And then you will see that your lymph already starts moving, so you may not need the brain and nerve health, depending on how bad it is. So I do feel, and it's not because I need more clients, it is like, it is a good investment in one's health. And I know that was not the question you asked, but I needed to get that out anyway. If you can repeat the kids, yeah, you can, but you know, we heal, the body heals. We only use herbs for a limited time. I think they have the kids for 16 weeks. That is 4 months. I don't know if it's 12 or 16 now. Anyway, and you don't want to keep using that. I talked to people who had been using the same herbs for 2 years and they didn't feel like they were healing. And I'm like, no, of course not. That's not what it's meant to do. You only use it for a short time. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, and Toni, I totally agree. Like, and for anyone who's starting a new detox journey or whatever, Toni has a health questionnaire and it's fantastic. You just, because then you talk to Toni or Gary or Sara or whomever, and once you fill out that questionnaire, then when I talked to you, Toni, then you set me up with exactly what I needed. And so it's a more personalized program, whereas these kits, I mean, you, like Toni said, you might get what you need, you might not get what you need. And
Yeah,
so
they will always be the basics. Liver and skin is one of them.
mhm.
It is the basics, but you may need a little different, a little bit more. And see, when I make a protocol for someone, I put the descriptions and the ingredients, so which herbs are in there, so you know exactly what you're taking. And you mentioned the health questionnaire. I just put the link there. The beauty of that health questionnaire, I didn't design it. Dr. Morse or his team designed it many, many years ago. And it works also as a self-assessment form, because we always see people that, or hear, oh, I'm healthy. No, I don't really need anything. But in the meantime, they have headaches, they have constipation, they have muscle aches, they have an ache here or there, and all signs they are not as healthy as they think. And it's not that I want to sell them the herbal formulas. I want to make them aware that they need to start making some changes before those aches and pains that everybody seems to have, and they feel it's all normal, before they get much worse and it is much harder to heal and to detox. So that was that.
Well, thank you so much. Okay. Are we okay if I keep asking questions?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. So I know a couple of people who have been in gymnastics accidents and are paralyzed from the waist down. So how did Dr. Morse heal people with spinal injuries? What did these people have to do to be fully healed?
They had to do exactly the same as we all do to get healed. And he will always say fruit, berries, and melons. And that is the keys, that is the key. 100% fruit. People with spinal injuries, I know he has been using the bone and connective tissue that helped. but it's always with the diet, with the whatever exercises that you can do, with Gary knows, and opening up the 6 lymphatic gates. Now, Dr. Morse is not teaching that. Gary taught me, and I feel I can see the benefit, and since I've been using it with clients, I hear about the benefits. So this is now always part of my suggestions, because it is always only suggestions. I cannot tell you you have to do that. It's always up to you. You make the choice. But it doesn't matter what kind of disease or symptoms or whatever you've been labeled to. The key to heal your body, that's always, or so that your body can heal, is always the same.
Yeah, so the the fruits, berries, and melons are high in electrical charge. What completes that is the breath. The breath turned on, your first breath was in, and it turned on your electrical system. So your lungs and your heart and your digestive system and all your autonomic nerve things all started with that first breath. And to maintain that power, you have to keep breathing. It's like leaving a flashlight on, and after a while the battery gets so low it can't do anything. Well, energy moves muscle. We're all been trained to focus on the muscle. The muscle moves the body, yes. But what moves the muscle? Energy. And that energy comes from high electrical output, uh, fruits, berries, melons. Veggies are lower on the thing, but there are people that are healed from just doing veggies, and because for some reason they're afraid of fruit, I guess. Uh, but our first breath is in, turns it on. Our last breath is out, turns the electrical system off. The energy goes back to source, and the body stays here, because the body came from here, but the energy that's in our body came from out there. Um, so as we maintain our breath, it will not only re-energize, but it can reconnect um, nerves that have, I don't know about severed, but that are weak. It will reconnect those, and it will rebuild those. And obviously, there must have been a disconnection in the people that are paralyzed from the waist down, or wherever their paralysis is in their face. Kind of like Car, when she had a paralyzed face, it all came back. And it was breath, proper hydration, with we use the master cleanse, but that's a fruit. So fruits, berries, melons, and we re-energize the entire body, and a lot of things will come back. And that's what we must remember. The breath is the key to everything. All emotion comes in through the breath, and all emotion leaves through the breath. Everything we have, every frequency in our body is connected to a breath. And when we change the breath, we change the frequency. And if it's fear, we will not have that anymore. That doesn't mean it can't be triggered, but as we learn to breathe, and it becomes part of our system, our autonomic nervous system, the body will automatically correct itself, even though we may be in fear, because we're training it to do that. That's why breath is so important.
Dr. Morse has a video from, oh, it goes way, way back. I think it goes at least 20 years back, that he actually, a person healed. He was, what do you call that? Paraplegic?
Yeah,
In a
yeah,
wheel?
that was the skydiver guy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so that interview is actually on my channel. If you go to the channel, well, you are on it now, and you go to playlist and you go to Dr. Morse's, you will find that video there where they talk about it. And that was actually, that video was on the news here, 10 past something. So, because it's not just by, hearsay that a person says, oh, I healed. No, they had all the doctor's reports and everything. So it really,
Yeah.
really happens. So the body
Yeah,
can.
I met that guy.
Oh, wow, my gosh,
Yeah.
the body can do amazing things.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
yeah.
yep, no, go for it.
Yeah, we need to move on. We had a few more questions, I think, and I want to keep it as short as we can. Katie, go on.
Okay, well, if we need to do another show, we sure can. Okay, my next question is, um, oh, how come it's advised not to drink anything when eating solids,
Yeah,
solid foods?
this is always so funny. I come from the Netherlands. We do not drink with our meals. I came to the United States for the first time, and you eat out, and the first thing they do, they put this a big glass with water on your table, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? I'm here to eat. So drinking meals or drinking with meals that actually dilutes the stomach acids and the digestive enzymes. So it makes it more difficult for your body to digest food. Now, when you start looking it up, which I did this morning because I wanted to hear other ideas too, because this is what I always knew. Yeah, they come with all kinds of ideas why you should drink with your meals. But to me, and I think this is something that Dr. Morse said too, this makes the most sense. It dilutes the stomach acid and digestive enzymes. I don't see why we need to drink with our food. I mean, you have already the saliva, everything starts already working when you start chewing. So this is a normal procedure. Now you add water, and yeah, the whole procedure changes. So it's not a natural thing for me to drink with my food, unless you eat very spicy food and you hope you have some water nearby.
Mm.
But we don't do that, Gary, right?
No, we don't. Nope. But I know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm not a spicy food guy, so that
Yeah,
doesn't happen very often. And the real curse is carbonated liquid,
yeah.
like beer or soda. And you see people eating sweets and drinking soda. Well, the sweets, the sugar lowers your energy, and the carbonation destroys your stomach acid, and it makes it really difficult for your body. Your digestive system has to work really hard to digest that food, and it's low on energy to begin with. So, uh, yeah, you got to really be careful about what you're doing. And the other thing that's happened to us, which we're not even like aware of, is we get 20 minutes for lunch, or we get a half an hour for lunch at work, and you got to stuff that food in, and you got to wash it down as quick as you can so you can get back to work. That's part of the digestive issues that are going on in the country, and I don't see those changing real real soon unless we change them. But there, like in Mexico, I mean, it's a whole family affair to have a meal, and they take a long time to eat because they're enjoying their food. It's made with love, and that's the other thing. Food made with love is a lot different than food made in a factory under artificial lights. Uh, so
And not made with love. There's a
right,
difference.
right. It's processed. It's fast. It's how much can we get out? What's the shelf life? And if it's not long enough, we're going to put chemicals in it that'll make it last like a Hostess Twinkie. There's still Hostess Twinkies out there when I was a kid from 1945 that were not spoiled.
But
So,
and then I think you're probably aware of that. I mean, I always love to go out for dinner. So I found the restaurants where I could eat. But even before I ate the way I'm eating now, it's like if you had a cook who was in a really bad mood, you could feel that food was not made with love. And you have that
right.
in a lot of the fast food restaurants, of course. But even in the really sit down restaurant, I could taste a difference.
Hmm.
That is food made with love tastes so much different. Okay, I know we already more than an hour and a half in, so we do one more question, and I know you had a question about sun gazing, and I do want to get that one out, and then we save the other questions and maybe more to come for over 2 weeks. Can you
That
do?
sounds like a great plan. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but so when you eat, I think it's advised that after you have food in your stomach, wait 30 minutes before you drink something. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would actually wait a little longer.
Yeah,
It's
like
been
an
said,
hour.
yeah,
Okay.
it's been said 30 minutes before you start eating and at least an hour after.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to get that information out for our listeners. So, okay, then the last question of the day is about sun gazing. We know that sun gazing in the rising or in the setting is very beneficial, but what if you can't see the sun? Is just looking at the sky and seeing the sky change the colors, is that just as beneficial, or do you actually have to see the sun?
Well, I looked up sun gazing from Dr. Morse, what he says about it. You say sun gazing is very beneficial. And I doubt it. I'm not so sure about that. Now, I do feel that when you close your eyes and you have the sun shine on your eyelids, that it could be beneficial. We have eyelids for a reason, and I found the whole sun gazing kind of weird, but I want to read here what Dr. Moore said in a video. He said there are people actually teaching someone to sun gaze. We have cases where the eyes were burned from sun gazing, and it's like, no, 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 no. I mean, there is an idiocy out there. People just going way too far over the top. That was the answer about sun gazing. Now, would it be beneficial to look at the colors in the sky for your health? I mean, I feel as long as there are no chemtrails, looking at the sky is always beneficial because it's beautiful, and it relaxes me. And I feel happy when I do that. The color is so beautiful. But so that was what I had to get out about the sun gazing is like, yeah, I'm not so sure about if it's beneficial. And knowing Dr. Morse is like, how crazy can you be? And I know there are a lot of people who promote it heavily, like this is the thing you need to do. I wouldn't do it. So therefore I cannot recommend it. But maybe, Gary, you have a different idea about that.
I have never done it. I know all the gurus do it. Like in India, they stare at the sun. I'm kind of in favor of what you said. Close your eyes and let the sun shine on your eyelids.
Yeah,
Uh,
makes more sense.
yeah, it's really easy when you're looking at the sun. First thing in the morning, when it first comes up, it's not too intense. Um, but it depends on your eye and the health of your eye. Um, when you stare at the sun, it's really easy to burn your cones in your eyes, your uh, the little rods inside, and it's really easy to burn those. So you have to be super careful. And I wouldn't go do it on my own. I would go do it with somebody who's been doing it for a few years and understands it better. Um, but yeah, that's a dangerous game. It's kind of like eating factory food. It's becoming a real dangerous game, you know.
All right, thank you so much. Sarah, do you have any last words for today?
Yes. So the more I've learned about sun gazing, I don't know if I would necessarily do that either, but definitely no sunglasses. And I haven't worn sunglasses besides on my motorcycle maybe in 2 years. I did try wearing them. I don't know. I don't know how long ago it has been, but I did try wearing them after I have not been wearing them. And one, it was like kind of like hurting the bridge of my nose, but I didn't like how it made everything kind of shadowed and it started making me feel kind of weird. So I'm definitely on with no sunglasses. I don't know if I would stare at the sun directly, but I also noticed that I don't sunburn anymore either now that I don't wear sunglasses. So
Yeah,
Yeah, it messes up your melatonin, serotonin production.
it does.
yeah.
So
Sunglasses do.
Yeah.
It's amazing because since the high fruit, I have not touched my sunglasses anymore, and
Hmm.
I didn't even realize it. So,
Yeah.
and when we talked about it one time, it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't worn those for years, and I always wore sunglasses, but
Yeah.
it's
Now
not
there is
needed anymore.
something different about being on a motorcycle though, Tony, and I know you can probably speak from that too, but I mean, one, it's a safety thing for your eyes. But two, I don't know, maybe the shield of my helmet, kind of like the plastic of it intensifies or something, but the sun can like really blind me. In my car, like I can use my visor, stuff like that, but I will wear sunglasses when I'm on my motorcycle. Of course, as soon as the sun goes down, I don't wear them. I just wear my shield. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's totally different.
right. I have my glasses, and I had a shield on my helmet, so
Hmm.
I couldn't stand, the wind in my eyes, and
Yeah, I
but
can't either.
no, but since I was wearing glasses anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how people ride without a helmet because I tell you what, one of them little bugs hits you in the that hurts.
Oh yeah, I had that happen right between the eyes.
Yeah,
People ride without helmets all the time. I'm like, ow.
Yep.
Or rocks.
yeah, yeah.
But yes, I think this
Okay,
was a
guys.
wonderful show, and I think we should definitely do this again.
Yeah, I like this too. I mean, we
Yep,
get to
me too.
talk about so many different things, and we can more participate and not let Gary do all the talking.
Oh, anytime that you want to talk,
Gary has so much to say, though, that we all learn
you
from.
just yeah,
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But sometimes you have to change something.
yeah,
So
Yeah, we
absolutely.
love Gary's wisdom.
yeah, next week the
Well,
plan
thank
is
you.
to have Lucas Lacontini from Brazil on.
Great.
All right.
Yeah, he has no books out again, so he sent me the whole list, and I was like, my gosh, I have to make it part of the protocol I sent to people that they have to read they have to read your book. So we're still figuring out how we're going to do that because he's fun. He is always on point. I don't know if you guys follow him on his.
Mm-hmm.
He has daily posts on his Facebook profile, and it's always he's always spot on. I love it.
That's great. I look
Okay,
forward to that. Katie, thank you so much for coming up with all the
yeah.
questions.
Yes.
Katie, if you
Thank
have
you.
more, we keep collecting them. I love it, and they were very very good. I hope it helped you some, and it helps other people. I put links in the chats to the EMF shield, to the mucusless food list, and to the health questionnaire. So I hope it benefits everyone, and I would say enjoy the rest of your day with much. I wish everyone much love and happiness and health and whatever good is coming to you. Smile.
Till the
Thank
next time.
Thank you, everyone. It was
Thank you.
fun, and it was great spending this time with you. I appreciate you all.
Thank you,
Appreciate you.
guys.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Till the
Bye-bye.
next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.